And good evening, I'm Jeff Kulikowski. Christy will be joining us in just a bit. As we first reported last half hour, unlike most cities in New York State, the city of Syracuse is seeing a drop in gunfire this year. While it may not seem like it, gunfire is down and gun seizures are up, with a special team of officers taking dozens off the streets. Where and how are they doing it? Christy, you say police are finding a correlation linking a strategy called problem-oriented policing to gun seizures. What's it mean?
Yeah, okay, like take a look at this map and you will see that, guns are being found all over the city, but you see this heavy concentration of guns, this shaded area? These are the so-called POP areas. They are called police apply problem-solving techniques in areas historically suffering the most from gun crimes. And then they work with the community to address the crime concerns in these areas. You mentioned that team of officers, Jeff. They work exclusively on tackling gun violence in those POP areas. Photojournalist Ben Augustine and I take you on this exclusive ride-along into those neighborhoods with a gun violence suppression detail. It's hectic.
He's got to be on his floor.
The moment the shift begins for this proactive police team, there's no downtime.
Hello? Somebody just come in here?
Sometimes, multiple times a day, we're going to shots fired calls, shootings with injuries. There's times it's happening several times a day.
Up against a lot right now. Number-wise in the department, we're low on numbers, and just society's view of the police right now.
Laser focused on finding guns. They know how
And be in a truck with one.
and where to look. It's often on the west side, which has long wrestled with poverty, disinvestment, and violence.
A lot of the West Side gang members tend to have beef with other gang members in the city. That's part of it. Part of it is the fact that there is a lot of drugs being sold.
A lot of drugs. The team searches for weapons, often stashed in abandoned homes. We couldn't help but notice discarded fentanyl packages everywhere.
They wrap it in this white paper, and you can see it's all over the place. Just an example of how much drugs get sold on this street every day.
No guns found, but they did find a man in a troubled state, about to shoot up fentanyl. A life possibly saved.
We're going to make our way back this way. Yep.
The search continues for stashed weapons.
They use what's called a community gun, so they'll hide a gun around an abandoned house, and then if a rival comes through, anyone can retrieve it to fire back or at that vehicle.
These days, bullets know no boundaries. Even this peaceful place isn't off limits. Here we are at a cemetery. It seems like such an unlikely place for shots to be fired.
We're in a cemetery, and you wouldn't think that stuff would happen here, but
Here we are.
here we are. You never know.
No bullet casings, no signs of the gunman. We head back into gang territory. And in places that are easy for gang members to defend. Do you find a lot of guns here?
There are numerous guns here, yeah. They're in the middle of an active gang war, so they usually
Is a
have
gang
protection.
war happening right here?
This would be one of the gangs that's involved, yes.
No guns found in the backpack on this night, but plenty of marijuana.
Scale in here, so they're clearly selling it.
The gang violence is getting worse. It's terrible. We see a lot of young individuals who get caught up in the gang life.
They're getting younger and younger. Make a lot of gun arrests, juveniles, 14, 15, 16 years old. There's really no penalties for them.
And they're finding ways to push through the obstacles, pulling 50 guns off the streets since September.
Most of our guns are coming out with an arrest. So you're not just finding guns laying around, now you're finding guns with a person that is being charged and ultimately jailed for that.
Building cases
He's going back in the building.
to lessen the unrelenting surge
We're into the back parking lot.
in gun violence. It was eye-opening. This team stresses they cannot do it alone. They need the community's help. You can always call in tips about guns anytime using the Syracuse Police Tip 411 app. Jeff.